everybody. My name's Caitlin, and it's wintertime here in Corvallis, and the thing about wintertime is I like soup, because it's easy to make, and it's delicious, and I can eat it out of a bowl, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to eat stuff out of bowls. I'm not a big plate fan. So, today we're going to make some delicious tomato and veggie soup, which can be 100% vegetarian, and is much more tasty than this. This is very bland. So, here goes nothing. Let's go to the chopping block. Okay, so ingredients. You got your tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. Now, here's the thing about fresh versus canned for any fruits and vegetables. In the summertime, when you can get them in season, always go fresh. But in the wintertime, your fresh vegetables don't taste so good. So because it is winter, I'm using some canned tomatoes as well. Salt, an orange, mostly just for the peel, onion, pepper, basil, celery, carrots, some butter, but you can also use any type of oil you want, olive oil, and broth. I'm using veggie broth. You can also use chicken broth. Both of those are good. And if you want to go cheap, you can use water, but it won't taste as good. So, up to you. Okay, then on to material. Okay, so the stuff that you got to use today is pretty easy. You got your cutting board, knife, can opener, peeler, colander for any fruits and vegetables that kind of need to be washed out, and then pot. Now here's the thing. You can either use a big pot, like this, which is a cast iron pot, or you can use, you know, just your normal pot. I like the cast iron pot because you can do more stuff in it. I'll explain later. Okay, so we're going to start with the carrots, and I would like to point out that this carrot is shaped weird, but that's okay. Carrots are fun like that. And to peel a carrot, you just take your peeler. I'm sure everybody learned how to do this when they were 5, and you peel away. Okay, so once you've peeled the carrots, just cut off the top and the end really quick. I peeled all these carrots off camera because it was boring. And then we're just going to slice them, and we want to slice them kind of in thick chunks because this soup is going to cook them down, and later we're going to actually blend it all together, so don't worry, they won't be like this forever. So to do it, you just take your knife and go up, down, up, down, up, down. And you want to get the weight of the knife, do the work. And go slow, but you don't want to go like that, lifting the knife, because if you lift the knife, then you lose control and you're more likely to cut yourself or something that you don't want cut. Okay, so you just can put them all into a bowl or something so that they're kind of set aside. Celery. So we're going to get 2 stalks of celery. A stalk is one of these long things. And there's dirt here, so we're going to just go take and rinse off the dirt in the sink. Here's the thing with celery. Celery is a really cool vegetable in and of the fact that, you know, the stringy things in celery, they're really fibrous, and they take a lot of energy for you to break it down. So actually when you eat celery, it's almost a no-calorie food. However, we're going to change that slightly in that we're going to actually peel celery, which most people don't know that you can actually do. But that gets rid of all those really stringy things. So you only kind of peel one side of it. You don't peel this inside. You just kind of peel the outside, and you do a really light job. If you've ever peeled like a cucumber or something, you know, where you don't really try and get all the peel, that's the same type of thing you're going for. And we're going to slice the celery really similar to the carrot, but slightly different. The carrot we are going straight on and slicing. Now we're going to slice it a diagonal to get more surface area out of the celery, which is going to cause it to cook up faster and just be, all in all, a lot more tastier. We're going to do roughly the same size as the carrot. And so we're just putting the celery in the carrot bowl, you know. It's all good. Up now is the onion. So, I've done onions before, but the point of slicing an onion is not to cry. So you want to slice just that back end and then the front end. This onion is very flat on top, which I find funny. Okay? And then we're going to slice it. We're going to chop it all up so we can cut it in half. If you were slicing it, you'd want to keep it round. Take the outer layer of the onion. So you're getting both the peel and the outermost layer all in one, but It's okay. We lose a little onion. Okay. So now we're going to slice it, and we don't want to cry. So you just make a few chops sideways like this, and then you just boom, boom. Again, these can be nice, big, jumbo slices, and then we just kind of go like this at the end. And again, actually, we're going to keep the onion separate from the celery and carrot bowl. Just leave it on your cutting board because we're almost done slicing stuff. So, I have these lovely cherry tomatoes that I bought a while ago that are starting to go bad. So what I'm going to do is just go through, see this is all, this one, can you see how gross that one is? I don't want to eat that. But some of them are pretty good. And so we're going to just put them in. If you have, you know, big tomatoes, by all means, you don't need cherry tomatoes. You can use normal tomatoes, especially if it's summertime. So we're going to turn the water on cold, not hot, and just kind of sprinkle them under there like this. You just kind of roll it around and let it go. If you're getting tomatoes, I really recommend, especially if it's summertime, to try and hit your local farmer's market, or at least the local area of your grocery store, because, quite frankly, the tomatoes will be... Okay, so, like the onions and everything else, we're going to quick slice the tomatoes. So, for the cherry tomatoes, and if you have cherry or grape tomatoes, just slice them in half. That's all you really need to do. Make sure that there's nothing gross if yours are super old, like mine are. We're also going to add some orange zest into our soup, and to do that you're just going to go with a small knife around the edge of your orange. I already did some, and just as shallow as you can make it. Your goal is to get, you know, right here I even got some of that white stuff, whitey yellow stuff, so you can kind of scrape it out like with your fingernail or the blunt edge of the knife. So you just want to go, and you need, I mean, the smallest amount because it's really powerful in the soup. Just little bits, and then you just slice it up really small and add it to your tomato mix. And so when you add the tomatoes, you add the orange, and it's amazing. So we need about 2.5 to start with. We can always add more if we need more. Tablespoons of butter. If you're vegan, you can totally use veggie oil. If you don't like butter, use veggie oil. Okay, so you don't need to melt all your butter to start, but I'd say make sure that there's a layer of butter on the bottom. And I know it's hard to see, but you can kind of see the yellowy areas right there. There's butter there, I promise. Okay, so now we're going to take our onion and garlic and just put it in there. You're going to keep stirring them, and I'm sorry, my camera is just not good enough and not well. Do you see how they get kind of glassy? They're shimmery. When they reach this shimmery stage, they're not starting to turn brown. They're still really light. At that point, most of the oil's still there. You always want to make sure it doesn't have to be covering everything, but there's still oil there. At that point, that's when you're going to add your celery and carrots. And by the way, in case you wanted measurements, it's about a half cup each of celery and carrots, or about 2 carrots and 2 stalks of celery. And so you're just going to kind of saute those. Okay, so while this is happening, you're going to open your can of broth. If you don't want to use broth, no worries. You're going to use about 2 cups of water here. Again, veggie or chicken broth, depending on how you're feeling. Benefits, veggie broth is vegetarian. I think the flavor is a little bit better. But the chicken broth has a couple grams of protein in it. The veggie broth has 0 grams. So after this going for, I would say, it's been about 3 minutes. Okay, nothing is really cooked. but they're all kind of starting to break down. You're going to add in your tomatoes. These are 14.5. They don't make 16-ounce cans anymore. But if you were doing these with fresh tomatoes, you're going to want about 4 cups of tomatoes, the 2 cups of either broth or water, which is going to get you a nice broth, and then I'm adding my tomatoes. Just kind of stir that around a bit. Okay. If it is summertime, go out and get some fresh basil. You will say thank you. If it is wintertime, just use dried, because the fresh basil is overpriced and expensive. Okay? So you add basil. You're going to turn it to kind of a medium-low, low-medium. I don't know what you want to call it. Cover it. And we're going to let it sit for a long amount of time. I'll tell you what to do later. So it's been about an hour. And you can kind of see what our soup has become. It smells fantastic in here. So you really should make this just for the smell. It's fantastic. So the point of when you know when you're done with this part is you can take a wooden spoon or a metal spoon and you go to one of your carrot chunks. You've got a lot of carrot chunks, okay? And what we just do with the carrot chunk is you're just going to smoosh it. And it's hard to do. And if you can smoosh it like that, then it means that other things can smoosh it. Easy ways to move it is to take like a big ladle, okay, at least to start when it's really full and heavy, and just kind of scoop it into your blender. So we're going to take it with the blender. Put the lid on, please. Okay, so as you blend, do about 2 blends on like an ice crush or a food processor, and then just kind of a longer blend on the blend function. And when you get to the blend function, you can kind of lift the lid, let more air get in. Okay. So then, your soup is ready. You can eat it now, or it's all stored in a handy dandy blender, which is fantastic. Okay, so once you finish blending, your soup is literally done. It's that easy. And you just pour it into your bowl. It's going to be kind of thick and delicious. But yeah, tomato-y veggie soup. Okay, I really want to taste it. Oh my god, this is so good. So I finished my soup and I'm eating it. And it's insane. It's better than I thought it would be. It's really sweet, but not sugary, like overly, fruit concentrate. Like it's naturally sweet because we didn't add any sugar. The orange zest, it comes through and yet doesn't. It's like it's hidden. Everything really. This is some good, delicious crap. It is. So, yay! The end.